Hey, can I ask you something real? Have you ever cried so much that your own tears started to feel like strangers to you? Like you didn't even recognize the woman in the mirror anymore? Like God was watching, but saying nothing? If that's where you are right now, if you're wondering why God is letting life break you piece by piece, then maybe, just maybe, He's not breaking you to destroy you. He's breaking you to build something sacred. Because the truth is, God always breaks the woman He intends to use. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you why God allows certain women to be broken. Not because He hates them, but because He's choosing them. I'll share 7 quiet, painful truths that reveal what God is doing in the breaking, and why it's the only way He can prepare you for something greater. The first is, God breaks what He plans to bless. Before God gives you more, He will break everything you thought you couldn't live without. Hey, don't scroll, don't click away, just breathe for a second. I know your chest is tight. I know you can't explain this pain to anyone. Not really. You smile during the day, but at night, you cry quietly so no one hears you. You ask God why it hurts so much to wake up, why it feels like He's silent when you need Him the most. You're not crazy. You're not weak. You're not being punished. You're being broken. And I need you to understand why. Listen to me. God never uses a woman greatly until He breaks her deeply. I'm not talking about a little inconvenience. I mean that shattering kind of pain, that kind of heartbreak that leaves you gasping for air, where the people you trusted walked away without warning, where everything you planned for suddenly fell apart, where your faith feels like it's hanging by a single thread. And it's in that moment, right there, where you're sitting in confusion and grief, that God begins His deepest work. Think about Job, not a bad man, not a wicked man, a man God bragged about, and yet he lost it all. His children, dead, his money, gone, his body, covered in painful sores, his wife, told him to curse God and die, his friends, said he must have sinned, he sat in the dirt, scraping at his skin, weeping, and still he said, "Though He slay me, yet will I trust Him." Job 13:15. Do you know how hard that is to say when your whole world is collapsing? Let me ask you something and be honest with me. Have you ever cried so hard you couldn't breathe? Have you ever begged God to just please make it stop? Have you ever felt like you were drowning in your own life? That's not just pain, that's the breaking. And listen, I know it's not fair. I know you didn't ask for this. You were doing your best. You were showing up, praying, believing. You were just trying to live and love and heal. But now you're sitting there wondering, why me? Why now? Why this? And here's what I've learned in the dark. God doesn't break you to punish you. He breaks you to empty you, so He can fill you with something stronger, something eternal. Maybe He's breaking your pride. Maybe He's breaking your people-pleasing. Maybe He's breaking your dependence on someone who was never meant to stay. Maybe He's breaking everything that you were leaning on, so you will finally lean on Him. Because He knows if you keep leaning on what's been hurting you, you'll never step into what He's prepared for you. Let me say that again. He's not being cruel. He's being intentional. And I get it. It's hard to hear that when your pillow is soaked in tears, when your phone doesn't ring, when everyone thinks you're okay, and no one knows you're falling apart. If you are still with me, drop the country you are watching from, because this message needs to get to all women that are going through pain because oil is on their head. Now let's move to the next reason why God breaks you, is because, number 2, the oil only comes from the pressing. There is no anointing without crushing. You know how people always talk about purpose, calling, destiny? But what they don't tell you is that to carry something holy, you'll first be crushed painfully. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever felt like life was squeezing you from every side? Like every time you take one breath, something else falls apart? Like the weight is pressing down on your chest, and you're just trying to keep your head above water? You're not imagining it. You're not exaggerating it. You are being pressed. But this is where the oil comes from. Look at David. We love to talk about how he was a man after God's heart, how he was anointed king. But we forget what happened after the oil touched his head. He didn't go straight to the throne. He went straight to the wilderness. He was hunted. He was hated. He was hiding in caves, sleeping on rocks, running for his life. Can you imagine that? Being anointed but rejected, chosen but chaste, called by God but constantly misunderstood. And yet, God didn't abandon him. He was pressing him, forming him, making him a king in secret. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Psalm 23:5. But that overflow came after the loneliness, after the betrayal, after the crushing. So if you're feeling like you're breaking down under pressure, like life keeps hitting you over and over again with no time to recover, don't run. Stay in the press. Because there's an anointing on your life that God can only release through the pressure. You hear me? God can trust you with more because you didn't quit when it got hard. He can trust you with truth because you've been through lies. He can trust you with healing because you've survived the breaking. You've been crushed, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and yet, you're still here. That's not weakness. That's oil. That's power. That's proof. Let me ask you gently. Have you been feeling the pressure lately? Be honest. The kind of pressure that no one sees, but it's pushing you to your knees? Just comment, I feel the pressure. That's all. I want to know who to pray for, who to stand with. You're not crazy. You're not weak. You're just in the press, and the oil is on you. The number 3 reason is sometimes God wants to reveal what was hidden. There are some wounds that look like loss, but are really the beginning of your calling. Let's talk woman to woman for a moment, because some of you watching this are carrying invisible wounds, not from strangers, but from the people you loved the most. You've been betrayed, rejected, lied on, used and then abandoned, and now you're walking through life, emotionally limping. But God still sees you, and I need you to believe this. That limp doesn't disqualify you. It marks you for something greater. Just like Leah. She was married to a man who never asked for her. She spent her entire life trying to be enough, trying to prove she was worth loving. Imagine that kind of pain. Your own husband turning his back on you, going to bed beside you, but dreaming of your sister or your friend. Imagine the tears Leah cried when Rachel walked past, and Jacob's eyes followed her instead. But here's what's beautiful and painful. When the Lord saw that Leah was hated, he opened her womb. Genesis 29:31. Read that again slowly. God saw that she was unloved, and he responded, not with revenge, not with pity, but with purpose. He gave her the ability to birth something, even in rejection, even in sorrow, even in silence. What if your pain isn't a punishment? What if it's an invitation to birth something no one else can carry but you? Leah gave birth to Judah. And do you know what that means? Jesus came through the line of a woman who was never loved by her husband. A woman the world overlooked. A woman with a wounded heart and tired eyes. That's the woman God used. So, let me ask you, have you ever felt like Leah? Unseen, unchosen, left behind while someone else gets the love you prayed for? If that's you, just write in the comments, God sees me and I know that. That's it. Let that be your confession tonight. Let the devil know he didn't break you. You're still standing. And hear me. You might be limping emotionally. You might be holding pieces of your heart together with nothing but prayer. But God sees every wound they don't. He sees the tears you wipe away before anyone can notice. He sees the courage it takes to smile when your heart is heavy. And he's not ignoring it. He's working through it. That limp you carry, it's not shame. It's the mark of a woman who's been in the presence of God and survived. Lift your head. God is still writing your story, and what comes next will silence every lie the enemy told you about your worth. Number 4. Isolation isn't rejection, it's preparation. Sometimes God hides you because the room you're meant to walk into isn't ready yet. Can I ask you something? Have you been feeling invisible lately? Like everyone moved on with their life and left you in the shadows? You see your friends posting wins. You watch people get married, get promoted, get celebrated, and you sit there, phone in hand, wondering why no one ever picks you. You pray, you show up, you encourage others, but when it's your turn, silence. It's not that you're jealous, you're just tired. Tired of being the strong one. Tired of being the one who claps for everyone else, but goes home alone. Tired of always being the background in other people's stories. But listen to me closely. God didn't forget you. He hid you. Look at Esther. She was taken from her home, forced into a palace she didn't ask to enter, given a new name, a new identity, a new reality she never prepared for. And then, silence. For 12 months she was hidden. Nobody knew who she really was. Nobody saw the full weight of her purpose. She was just there, existing, waiting, unknown. Before a young woman's turn came to go into King Xerxes, she had to complete 12 months of beauty treatments. Esther 2:12. 12 months of being unseen, so she could be ready for one moment that would change everything. Some of you are in your 12-month season right now. You're in the quiet, the waiting, the nobody's calling season, and you think that means you're behind. You think that means you missed it. But what if you're right on schedule? What if the silence is your preparation? What if God is beautifying your spirit in private before revealing you in public? Esther didn't fight to be seen. She didn't post her way to visibility. She trusted the process, and when her moment came, she saved an entire nation from hiding to history making. That's what God can do. Because being hidden by God is one of the clearest signs you're being prepared for something bigger than you imagined. Don't rush out of this moment. Breathe. Let the silence be sacred again. God isn't ignoring you. He's preparing something too heavy for the crowd to see just yet. The next one is even more hurting, but trust me, God is aware of it. Number 5. When God closes a door that felt like destiny. It's not rejection, it's redirection, wrapped in pain. Let's talk about it. That thing you don't mention anymore. That dream you buried. That prayer you gave up on. It looked like it was finally happening. You finally felt peace about it. It felt right, aligned, even blessed. And then, it fell apart. The relationship you prayed for? Gone. The opportunity you fasted for? Canceled. The door you thought was your breakthrough? Slammed shut. And now you're sitting in silence, staring at a closed door and whispering, "But God, I thought this was it." That's the kind of pain that leaves you numb, not angry, just empty. Because it wasn't just a door. It was your hope. But I need you to hear me. And I need you to let this settle deep in your heart. God doesn't close doors to punish you. He closes them to protect you. Even when it doesn't make sense. Even when it hurts like hell. Look at Hannah. She wanted one thing. Just one. A child. Year after year she prayed. She cried. She waited. And still, nothing. Meanwhile, the other woman, Peninnah, had everything Hannah was asking for. More children, more attention, more answers. Can you imagine that? Watching someone else live your prayer while you sit in silence, wondering if God even sees you at all. But here's the part most people overlook. And the Lord had closed her womb. 1 Samuel 1:5. God closed it. On purpose. Not because she was forgotten, but because he wasn't just giving her a child, he was preparing her to birth a prophet. And when her womb opened, it wasn't ordinary, it was Samuel, the voice that would anoint kings, the prophet who heard God when others couldn't. So what looked like a denial was really a divine delay. Listen to me. Closed doors are not the end. They're God's way of rerouting you to something your heart hasn't even imagined yet. He sees the full picture. You just see the pain. And he's not done. Just wait. The end is always full of testimonies. Now let's go to the next reason why God breaks the woman he wants to use. Number 6. God breaks you to bring you back to him. The breaking wasn't to destroy you. It was to pull you closer. You've cried. You've begged. You've asked all the questions. Why me? Why now? What did I do wrong? God, are you even there? And now? You're tired. Not just physically, but soul tired. You've reached the point where you're not fighting anymore, not because you gave up, but because you're finally letting go. And that's the moment God was waiting for. Surrender. Not forced, not manipulated, but pure, broken, honest surrender. The kind of surrender that says, God, I don't understand this, but I trust you anyway. Even if you don't answer how I want, I'll still follow you. Even if it still hurts, I'm done trying to carry it alone. That's not weakness. That's not failure. That's the beginning of healing. Let me take you to one of the most broken moments in the Bible. Mary Magdalene. She had 7 demons cast out of her. Her past was messy. Her name was stained. And yet, she became the woman who followed Jesus all the way to the cross. When everyone else ran, she stayed. Now Mary stood outside the tomb crying. John 20:11. She was weeping, not casually, not quietly. This was grief, confusion, loss. She had followed Jesus with her whole heart, and now his body was gone. It felt like the end. But do you know what happened next? Jesus appeared, and he called her by name. Jesus said to her, Mary. She turned toward him and cried out, Rabboni. John 20:16. Not woman, not hey you. He said her name. Because when you surrender in sorrow, God doesn't just comfort you, he comes closer. Some of you are standing outside your own tomb. The dream is dead. The relationship is over. The job is gone. The version of life you imagined is buried. And you're standing there, like Mary, weeping. But hear me, the tomb is not your ending. It's where resurrection begins. Can I ask you something? Are you in your weeping season? The season where you've done all you know to do. And now, you're just done? Let this be your moment of release. You've carried it long enough. God is ready to carry you. It's okay if you don't have the strength to pray long prayers right now. Sometimes all God needs is your yes through the tears. That's surrender. He's not angry. He's not distant. He's near. He's whispering your name again, just like he did with Mary. The next one is because you survived the breaking. Now walk in your becoming. After the fire comes the voice. 1 Kings 19:12. You didn't think you'd make it this far. You thought the pain would bury you. You thought the silence meant he left. You thought the closed doors were final. But look at you, still standing, still breathing, still becoming. Not the same woman. No, she's gone. This is someone new, someone deeper, wiser, more dangerous to the enemy than ever before. Let me take you to one more woman. Ruth. She lost everything. Her husband, her security, her future. She could have turned back like Orpah did, but something inside her whispered, don't go back to what broke you. Walk forward into what's unknown, and trust that God is there too. Where you go, I will go. Your God will be my God. Ruth 1:16. She followed Naomi into a land that wasn't hers. She didn't have a plan. She just had faith. And it didn't look like glory at first. She was picking up scraps in someone else's field, bent over, hidden, overlooked. But God saw her, and Boaz saw her, and the same field she used to crawl through became the place she was redeemed. You hear me? The place where you were broken is the same place where God will restore you. The people who walked away, let them go. The season that ended, let it close. You're not going back, you're going forward. This pain was not in vain. This fire forged something sacred. You've come out different. You've come out ready. Let me ask you this, honestly. Are you ready to stop surviving and start becoming? If you are, drop a comment right now. I'm becoming. Say it over yourself. Whisper it through the tears. Let the heavens hear it. Let the enemy regret ever touching you. The woman you're becoming. She doesn't settle. She doesn't chase. She doesn't prove. She knows who she is. She walks in grace. She carries oil. And she remembers what it cost her to get here. This is your story now. You were broken, but you healed. You were lost, but He found you. You were overlooked, but God saw you. And now, Mom, you're walking in power. So walk boldly, walk freely, walk like a woman who knows the wilderness, but also knows her God. If this entire journey spoke to you, from part 1 to now, leave a comment. I'm walking into purpose. I'm not the same. Because you're not. And this is only the beginning.